The desert has a way of swallowing sound, of holding its breath while something sacred or terrible happens beneath its endless sky. That evening, as the sun bled its last light across the mesas, the land looked wounded, as though the whole of the West carried its own secret sorrow. Ezekiel Boone rode alone through that twilight. Folks in Dry Creek rarely saw him anymore, a man with soldier's scars, both visible and hidden, who preferred the hush of mountains to the chatter of saloons. His horse plodded steady, dust rising with each step. The cicada's chant was the only companion to his silence. And then he heard it, a sound so out of place it cut through the desert's solemn hush. The thin, piercing wail of infants. Zeke pulled hard on the reins, heart thudding in his chest. For a moment he thought it a trick, an echo carried wrong on the wind. But then came another cry, desperate, staggering. His pulse quickened. He nudged his horse into a gallop, gravel flying beneath hooves, the cries pulling him forward like a rope around his chest. At the bottom of a ravine lay the wreckage of a wagon. Its wheels splintered, canvas torn, supplies scattered like bones across the earth. A fire still smoldered in the dirt, giving off the bitter smell of gunpowder. Zeke swung down from his horse, boots crunching on gravel. Against the broken wheel, half hidden in shadow, a woman slumped, dress soaked with blood. Her face, pale as riverstone, lifted weakly as he approached. In her arms, two swaddled newborns cried into the dusk, their tiny fists waving at a world too cruel for their first hours. "Ma'am," Zeke's voice rasped, unused to gentleness. He knelt beside her, eyes scanning the wounds across her side, ragged, fatal. She'd been shot, and badly. Her eyes, glazed with pain yet still burning with a fierce light, fixed on him. "Sir, please." Her lips trembled with every word, voice no stronger than paper tearing. "It's my last day alive. The wounds are fatal." She adjusted her hold on the babies, pressing them closer, as if even death could not pry them from her arms. "Please, take my twins," Zeke froze. His hands hovered useless in the air. He was no father, no husband, just a ghost of a man wandering the frontier because the war had stripped him hollow. His days were filled with silence and whiskey, not the cries of children. "I ain't fit," he muttered, throat dry as dust. "You're fit enough," she whispered. And somehow, even dying, her mouth softened into a small smile. "Their names are Evelyn and Elias." With trembling fingers, she tugged at the chain around her neck, pressing a locket into his palm. When he opened it, scratched letters gleamed faintly. Evelyn and Elias. A mother's desperate attempt to etch permanence into shifting sands. The babies cried harder, their tiny voices slicing through the desert quiet. Zeke felt his chest ache in a way he hadn't felt since burying his comrades long ago. "Please," the woman begged, fingers gripping his sleeve with what little strength remained. "Don't let them be alone," Zeke's breath caught. He had spent years convincing himself he was better off alone. But now a dying stranger was asking him to carry not just babies, but a legacy. At last, he nodded, voice hoarse. "I'll keep 'em. I swear!" Her head fell back against the wagon, breath slowing. She pressed her lips to each child's forehead in turn, eyes glistening. "God bless you, stranger," she whispered. Her chest rose once more, then fell, her hand slipping from his sleeve. And just like that, her spirit went still, as though a candle flame had been snuffed by the wind. The desert was silent again, save for the cries of the twins. Zeke knelt there a long while, staring at the still body of Clara May Hensley, for he knew her name now, etched in the locket, until the stars began to prick the heavens. Then slowly he gathered stones and built her a grave beneath the open sky. No coffin, no preacher, only his own rough voice murmuring a prayer he half remembered from boyhood. "Rest easy, miss. I'll carry what you gave me." With trembling hands, he lifted the twins, swaddled them tighter in the scraps of cloth, and mounted his horse. He felt their small warmth against his chest, and every mile toward Dry Creek weighed heavier than the last. His back ached, his throat cracked, and doubt thundered in his mind. What do I know of babies? I'll kill 'em faster than save 'em. But when one whimpered, he adjusted the cloth, whispering gruff comforts he didn't even know he remembered. By dawn, the ragged rooftops of Dry Creek appeared. The town stirred as Zeke rode in, horse weary, man more so. He slid down from the saddle, Babe still crying against him. Townsfolk turned, eyes narrowing, whispers cutting sharp. Isn't that Boone? Ain't seen him in months. Lord above. He's carrying babies? They can't be his. The murmur spread like wildfire. Some spat in the dust, others crossed themselves. To them, Ezekiel Boone was a scarred hermit, a man who'd once killed too easy in the cavalry days. Now he had children in his arms? It didn't fit their picture. Sheriff Tobias Crane emerged from his office, boots striking the boardwalk with authority. A tall man with a hard jaw, he cut his eyes toward Zeke. His hand rested heavy on his belt. "Boone," he barked. "Explain yourself." Zeke shifted the babies in his arms, sweat dripping beneath his collar. "Stagecoach ambush out by the ravine," he said. His voice came out like gravel. "Found their ma shot up. Buried her myself. She begged me to take 'em." The sheriff's eyes narrowed. "Convenient story." He glanced at the crowd. "Folks know you keep to yourself. Some reckon you ain't right in the head. And now you show up with babes?" Before Zeke could answer, a woman's voice cut through. "Sheriff, hush." Martha Lou Crane, the sheriff's wife, stepped forward, her skirt brushing dust. She had the kind of face that softened storms. Her eyes fell on the infants, their cheeks blotched from crying. "They're hungry, poor things." She held out her arms, and Zeke hesitated, clutching them tighter. The crowd's gaze burned on him, suspicion and scorn heavy as iron. But the baby's wails grew sharper, their hunger undeniable. With a reluctant stiffness, he let her take them. Martha Lou carried them inside, cooing softly, fetching goat's milk to feed their small mouths. Zeke remained outside under the sheriff's watchful stare, townsfolk whispering like crows. That evening, as thunder rolled in and rain began to fall, Zeke found himself in the sheriff's barn. Martha Lou had given him blankets, though the sheriff remained wary. The babies slept now, their breath soft. But soon hunger woke them again, cries rising against the drumming storm. Zeke sat on a bale of hay, cradling them in the dim lamplight. His chest felt too tight. He wanted to believe someone else in town would take them. But Clara's last words haunted him. "Don't let them be alone." The cries grew louder, piercing. Zeke pressed them close, rocking clumsily. And then, unbidden, a memory rose. His own mother, humming low by the hearth when he was a boy. Before he could stop himself, he began to hum, too. The sound was rough, broken by years of disuse. Yet the babies quieted, their cries softening to whimpers, then sighs. Their small faces relaxed, eyes fluttering shut. Rain hammered the roof. The barn smelled of hay and earth. And there, with those tiny lives resting in his arms, Zeke felt tears spill hot down his weathered cheeks. He had not prayed in years. But now he whispered a prayer into the storm. "Lord, if you left me anything worth doing, maybe it's this." In that moment, Ezekiel Boone knew he was no longer just a drifter or a ghost of war. He was the vessel of a dying woman's last hope. And whether he was ready or not, he belonged to these children now. So hear me, friend. Sometimes the burdens we do not choose become the blessings that save us. Life hands us weights too heavy, yet in lifting them we find our own strength. Carry what is entrusted to you, for in that carrying, you may just find yourself reborn.